Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Boy. It is John Boy time. I am your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me as ever is the pinnacle and perfection of perversion.
Sup?
Michelangelo's David Duke Ovni. Aaron Josephita.
That's me, dude.
How are you?
Pretty good.
All right.
I'm all right.
You all right?
I was at the gym for the first time in a while.
Hey,
Nice.
dude, nice.
It's
You look great.
Update.
Fuck you, dude.
What?
I don't feel great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you went to the gym
Right
for
now,
the
I
first
can
time.
feel my stomach over my jeans.
You have atrophied
I've atrophied.
extensively.
That's
Yeah.
right.
What are you going to do, man?
You were a trophy, and now.
I've atrophied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, just turn my life around.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, New
thinking
Year's
about,
coming.
thinking about stop drinking.
Yeah. And start wearing condoms?
No.
No.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Now, on my right, your left,
Yes.
is the French-Canadian poutine,
Yes.
Matthew Brousseau.
Yeah, hi. Hello.
How are you, buddy?
I'm
Steaming
great.
dish.
I went to the gym today, too.
Handsome Matt
You
Brousseau.
look good, dude.
Thanks, yeah.
Frenchman, henchman.
Stenchman.
Fellas. As you know, we do an extra episode per week on the Patreon
This last one.
for a mere $5 a month. We had a ball last time.
This last one.
I mean, we're not even adjusting the price for inflation.
Just a little tidbit from the last time. Had a lot of fun just talking about calling 1-800-GAY dude and handing your
Here you go,
dad,
Dad.
handing your dad the phone and going, "It's for you."
Huh? Oh, okay, hold on. Dad?
Dad? I can imagine my dad listening to it for a minute and like hanging up and be like, "Oh, very funny." And me going, I'm like, "Who was that?" And he goes, "Shut the fuck up, John." And I'm like, "Dude, he called up and said, 'Is Tommy there?'" And I was like, "Yeah." And my dad was like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes,
He said he was looking for hot, steamy hunks.
yeah, he said something about every drop of your load.
What's that mean,
What's
Dad?
that about?
Is that like tea or?
Dad, what was that? And then my dad getting like really freaked out.
He said you might be thirsty for beer piss?
Yeah. What are beefy hunks, Dad?
Are they in my area?
Am I a beefy hunk?
Not yet, son. Yeah, no, it's probably a lot of joy. It's just a random dumb thing that comes
And
up.
then he gives it to you, and then your dad calls 1-800 stupid bitch to your mom. For you!
Yeah, if you ever want to call 1-800-GAY dude or any kind of homoerotic sex line and hand the phone to your dad and give us a video or audio tape of it happening, that would really mean the world to us.
Yeah.
Especially if you think, your dad would,
Love it.
not like it.
Oh.
Yeah. And if he does like it, send that in too.
Yeah.
Send that in.
Everyone's dad is gay.
Yes, everyone's dad is
Move
gay.
on.
Yeah, it's
Move
fine.
on.
It's fine.
2022, dude. Everyone's dad is gay now.
Get used to it.
Yeah. So this Christmas season, please, if you like the show, subscribe to the Patreon. $5 a month. Bare minimum to get an extra episode per week.
Yeah.
Also, get a hold of the Etsy store, profiles, and get yourself a shirt.
Yeah, please. And while you're at it, if you watch the show, if you're a fan of the YouTube, send us a little timestamp.
Clip suggestion.
Yeah, hey.
Oh, yeah.
We've got some to go through. Some have been sent.
Yeah.
That's
that's true.
wonderful.
That's true.
But it does have to be like video. Don't send us clips of one that we haven't posted yet because there's no video.
Or there's ones that are too old and we don't have video of them.
That was
which
before
is-
the invention of video.
that's
Yeah,
So before the invention of video. But also
Yeah,
those
been
ones
doing
could
this a while.
potentially be animated by our friend Dallas.
I'd love to see that.
So that's exciting. So still helpful suggestions. Also, Handsome Matt Brousseau, you have a show coming up in town this week.
Los Angeles, California.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it's in North Hollywood, so yeah. Yikes. Is it incorporated? I don't know.
The Valley.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be on a friend of the show, Kevin Anderson's show. I'll be doing
Friend of the show, Joe K.
Joe K as well, yeah. And I'll be doing my Dr. Brusso Today in Science Live PowerPoint.
Very exciting.
Great stuff.
Always the best.
Yeah, we got some drawings by Jorge Riverol I've animated. Friend of the show, Jorge Riverol. So it's gonna be weird, wild stuff.
Friend of the show, my personal enemy.
Great room for comedy, I must say.
Yes.
And they do always put on a tight little show. It's got to be said.
Yeah.
That's Saturday, 7 o'clock. Avatar 2. It's called.
December 17th.
Yes.
And make sure you know it is 7:30 because it has to. We got to get out of the way of these karaoke performers.
Yeah, they show up at 9. It's a quick show.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get out of there.
Now,
Karaoke.
what we got here is something of a potluck today, gentlemen.
That's true.
I have a short little thing. If you know,
Yeah, you do.
But it's thick.
Yeah, it's thick.
classic Irish.
Yeah.
Just my mule shillelagh.
I call it the Blarney Bone.
Hey,
Ah,
very nice.
I like to give it a little kiss.
Very nice.
Oh.
Yeah, gives you the gift
The gift of gape.
Yeah.
gift
yeah.
of the gape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gift of the fap. I did hear a lesson. It is kind of a lesson. You know, you go back so far into history, and you're going like, all right, how much is folklore?
Mm-hmm.
This is very much that suggested by friend Dara, who does a lot of this sort of era's history, folklore around Dublin. And basically in the 1750s, let's say, there was a guy who was born without legs.
Nice.
And his name was Billy Davis. And he was kind of brought up in this, kind of a home for the destitute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what years is it? 1750s, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And 1760s maybe, and he got out. They threw him out because they were
He
like,
didn't walk out.
Yeah. I know.
yeah, they threw him out because they were like, he doesn't technically qualify as a man.
Because he has no legs.
Oh, he has no legs.
Did he have a penis and balls?
Yes.
He's a man.
Where did the legs end?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Above the knee?
yeah.
Above the knee, below.
Think about hips and no legs.
So this guy really was a tripod.
Well, it was actually more interesting than that.
Oh boy.
Depending on which version you hear, most degree iron was the bowl was made of. He placed himself in a bowl, and then he had two big clubs that he would pull on the street with.
That makes sense.
And pull
Skiing.
pull the bowl around the street.
Well, all those cobblestones, there's a lot of things to hold on to.
I bet you the vibrations sent him.
Oh yeah.
But he
And
was
really, everybody enjoyed the
he
sound.
became known as Billy in the Bowl.
I love it.
And he was
Should have chosen a box, Billy.
he was going around Dublin, and one thing he had going for him was if this is your way of getting around, you're gonna be unbelievably strong.
Tremendous upper body.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also covered in mud.
No.
Oh,
The
okay.
bowl's gonna protect you from that. Probably,
you
probably
know.
better than somebody out in their fancy Sunday dress. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's scooting along, the streets of Dublin, in Grangegorman area of Dublin, and he was charming and also notoriously beautiful. Extremely good looking, long dark hair. What they said was an aquiline nose, and
What does that mean?
it was just
Nice.
A nice
just
nose.
very
Nice
good to
nose.
look
Okay.
at, and so he was just very fetching, and he was charming, and he at the time beggars would frequently go to the rich side of town, and
That makes sense.
he would go more for the people cleaning those places, the middle class,
Smart.
and
There's more of them.
and there's more of them, and they just they felt
Probably
like
felt for him more.
they felt for him more for sure, and so he was what was also referred to as one of my favorite Irish expressions of all time, a chancer, which just means opportunist, but sounds
Yeah.
far better.
Chancer's
Yes,
nice.
yes.
A chancer is One of my favorite Irish words ever.
Well, it sounds much
He's a
more
bit of a
positive.
chancer.
Yeah, it's a bit of a chancer.
Not too shabby of a
It's a bit of
prestidigitator as well.
A chancer, and
It's positive as opposed to.
No.
No. I mean, it sounds more positive. He takes his chances. He tries to find.
It's the exact same word as opportunity.
I know, but it sounds
Opportunist
better.
has a more negative connotation. Just the way.
Chancer,
I mean, here at least.
Chancer is
You can you feel like somebody would name their kid Chancer.
Chancer's a little more charming. Yeah, it's like a dog name, I think.
Yeah, he plays second base for the Angels or something.
Yeah. So he would gamble and he would drink.
He's a chancer.
And he made decent enough money begging for from the middle class.
Doesn't have to buy pants.
No.
And but he still he supposedly would get if it wasn't money, it would be like meat and scraps thrown in the bowl, and perhaps even a sexual favor or two.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was quite
all in the bowl.
Man, that guy, I mean, he's probably a great actor.
Quite cunning and a real character around town, in this small section of Dublin, which I think the other adjoining area was Stony Batter or something. And so Grange Gorman, Stony Batter, and so one day he's just like I need more money, and he does a thing where he throws himself into the hedges, and he waits for some slightly wealthy, good-looking, not good-looking, just any woman to walk by alone, and then he starts screaming, and he's like, the bowl is nowhere to be seen.
I can't find my bowl.
And he's just in the hedges, and some good woman comes to look and see what's wrong, and then she just sees these huge fucking arms come out to grab her and pull her down so he can rob her, and she faints. And he takes her jewels and her money and all that. And so then they're looking around for someone, and he does this a few more times, and he's got some money, and then one time he just bites off somebody a little bit too big with 4 full limbs.
Ugh.
And there's a bit of a struggle, and then he's like, I'm gonna have to strangle this woman.
No, Billy.
So it's then the hunt is on with the first formed Metropolitan Dublin Police Force, 1786.
Well, it must have been all of their training goes out the window because they're not looking for footprints.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just skid marks.
Yeah, it's just
yeah. And so, yeah, just.
This guy leaves there's no trace.
Yeah. How are you, Billy? Love you.
Keep your eyes peeled now.
So he knows he's got to lay low for a while, but and he's got some money.
Here he is.
Very good. But he's got to swing low for a while, and he does, and then the money runs out, and he's like, I got to go back to this old grind of
robbery.
Of robbing people, and so there's one time where a couple of people he's begging, and a pair of women take pity on him, and he just sees that they're kind of flush with like a lot of nice things, and the purses and they're giving to him, but he sees what they're wearing and like what's in their bags and everything, and he just makes a fucking a go of it, and he's a chancer, and he attacks one,
like an opportunity.
But they've got like 8 limbs now, and he's still got 2,
Dude, this is not a fair fight.
and so one of them takes a hat pin and shoves it in his eye.
Oh. I'll do it.
Yeah. So now he's got a hat pin in an eye.
No legs still.
No, yeah, hasn't gained a leg, lost an eye.
And they've been on the lookout, the locals and the newly formed police force for the Stony Batter Strangler, and the Grange Gorman Lane murderer, and now they were totally shocked it was him. They were like, "Fuck, this must be the guy." So somebody comes out with a wheelbarrow, throws Billy into it. Right, takes him, to the police station, and they lock him up, And I think, it was like, we should hang this guy. But then they were like, he's so fucking strong. He can break a lot of rocks. So
Put him to work.
So they put him to work. And then it was also a thing where it was like a freak show, too, where you would come and see him. And also, and just keeping him alive for the work.
Yeah.
And it was just a thing like, never would have happened if this fucking home didn't decide he wasn't a man and throw him out on the streets and make him fucking live in a bowl and scoot around like a fucking lunatic,
He's not a man. What did they think he was?
A half man.
Man.
Yeah.
Fucking libtards,
Anyway,
Cancel culture.
a small one. I wanted to set it up, and thank you, Dara. He's a longtime listener of the show. Maybe he got started with the INLA one because he's a
pervert.
He's an Irish guy.
Yeah.
And
living in a bowl.
Well, so there's a reminder. There's a video game called Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, I believe you probably pronounce it, where it's just a guy with no legs in a bowl and a sledgehammer, and you have to use the sledgehammer to climb over like a mountain.
Huh.
So I'm imagining that's where they got that idea from.
Maybe
There's just a whole history.
I've never heard of anybody in a bowl before. That
yeah, dude. People in bowls. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's what I
and
mean.
like there's so many.
Well, he tried like a box and just getting stuck on curves and stuff.
The bowl really makes sense in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
dude, you're not doing that. He's like a human weeble wobble. You're not pushing. He's not falling over.
It's nearly a wheel.
Yeah. Well, some said it had little wheels, and I was like, I don't think it did.
Dude.
I don't think an iron bowl is going to be set up with little wheels.
Dude, if you put that guy on a wheel though, he'd be like really cool.
Well, you couldn't put
It'd
him
be
on
like
a unicycle.
like a MODOK type of thing,
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day.
Or like a Segway.
Yeah. You just can't fall over.
Yeah.
Unless you're the guy that,
Well, yeah.
had the segment.
For all we know, he hasn't fallen over. He's just.
Billy in the Bowl gets mentioned by Shane McGowan and the Pogues in a song, and most famously in Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's part of the history of Dublin.
I think
so
everything was mentioned in Finnegan's Wake.
Yeah, well, definitely that sort of Dublin folklore is going to work its way in there, and it has all that stuff about class and just being a kind person and throwing people out on the streets and that it's got everything.
Yeah. It's got to be true.
Yeah.
I heard this. Funny, God, it was. I heard Neil Brennan talking about. I heard him on a podcast. Neil Brennan, co-creator of Chappelle's Show, and he was talking about a really great joke writer. I think somebody that actually wrote. I think he wrote on SNL, and he was saying like this guy's actually he's like my favorite joke writer. And I remember one time it was something for a Weekend Update, and he said this is like my favorite. Like he goes, the Black Eyed Peas have announced they're putting on a free concert in Central Park. Black Eyed Peas free in Central Park? That sounds too true to be good. Dude, too true to be good? I can't believe I've never heard that. Nobody's ever said that before. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's really good.
Too true to be good is canon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, how long is your? I mean, you probably got a nice long one, uncut.
It's about 4 pages. Probably we could do an hour on it. I'd say.
An hour?
Maybe,
yeah. Then we should do Aaron's the wee guy. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty.
We'll ease up to it. Plus yours kind of follows into my second small one.
Well, leads.
You got
into
another small one?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
All right, man. Check me out like this. Shit, I just closed my notes.
The fuck, dude.
Sake, man.
I got some guy.
Great.
This guy, William Buckland. You ever heard of this guy?
Billy Buckland?
Billy Buckland.
No.
Good old Billy Buck.
I don't think so.
This guy was born in 1784.
Huh.
Englishman.
Oh boy.
And
I'm William.
he was a theologian,
Oh.
a bit of a geologist, and early paleontologist.
Bone stealer.
This is around the time people are like digging stuff up and being like, the hell's all these crazy things in the ground?
Yeah. What did the devil leave for us?
Yeah. To trick us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A wacky devil.
So he was
You're right.
born,
I feel like I just heard of this guy or something.
Oh, okay.
you think so?
No, I don't know. But
So he,
I feel like it though.
he was born at Axminster in Devon.
God, they have so many mints.
And he would take walks with his father, who was a rector.
No, it's a church thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a kind of church thing.
Yeah.
Because at that time they were doing all sorts of improvements to the town, the road improvements. They're digging stuff up, and he would find
Old shit.
fossils and such.
Fuck is this?
There's a man in a bowl.
And he was a smart kid, and so he goes to Winchester College, and then eventually gets a scholarship to Corpus Christi College at Oxford. So it's one of Oxford's like satellite schools.
Yeah, they're the better.
He would attend lectures by the famous John Kidd. Of course, we all know John Kidd on mineralogy and chemistry, and he.
Oh yeah.
And he would start getting into. He'd go on vacations and stuff and just start digging and find stuff.
Billy digging again.
Various geological excursions in England, Scotland, Ireland, and even Wales.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's where the dragons are.
And then he enrolled in a course on the science of geology.
Was it just the guy teaching was like, look, I don't know what the fuck the science is?
Well, there was, people still had a very many people had a very Genesis.
Yes,
that kind of thing, right? He was ordained as a priest, became a fellow at the college.
Hey.
And
Cheerio.
then he starts teaching there.
Mm-hmm.
And he would no matter what, he was always wearing his teaching robes, even on these excursions for digging up fossils.
Real cat.
He dressed like that. And so he would also teach. He would teach these courses. And
what's that down there?
He would he'd have
pass it up here.
Yeah, well, one of them they're called coprolites, and his fossilized shit. He loved fossilized shit.
Oh boy.
And he would have hyena skulls. He's like you're in class, John, right? Pretend.
Wow.
And he goes
hard.
He goes, "What rules the world?" And you'd be like, "I don't know." And he'd be like, "The stomach. The stomach rules the world.
Greed.
The big things eat the little things, and those things eat littler things, and then eat littler things. The stomach rules everything." Right? And so,
Start of industry, if you think about it.
Yeah,
that's
really.
right.
Yeah.
Bigger. There's always a bigger fish, right? And he becomes a fellow at the Royal Society. Then he writes this book on the connection of geology with religion, and he kind of reconciles. He still believes in the Great Flood, but he sees evidence of glaciation as the reason for a lot of the strata in the fossil records.
Right.
Well, these things are I guess a large part of London has all these fossilized hyenas and shit in there. And that's why he had a hyena skull. And he said, well, a flood didn't wash all this here. This is years of glaciation that put, that layered these bones here. Plus, hyenas would grab all sorts of dead shit and then bring it into their den. That's why there's all sorts of weird shit here. It's not like Noah's Ark landed here. Then he became president of the Geological Society of London.
Fucking nice.
And he denounced the discovery of a giant reptile that he named Megalosaurus. And he wrote the first full account of what later would become dinosaurs.
Whoa.
Yeah. He married some lady named Mary Moreland. And she was an accomplished illustrator and also a collector of fossils. And I think she would...
Well, that's convenient.
It got really big. When they were finding all these fossils, people were like, well, what does it look like? And so illustrators would be commissioned to draw hypothetical landscape, situations.
Dude, it's so fucked up. It's like this.
Check out these fucking lizards, man.
There's two people standing with him, too.
So she assisted him in his work greatly. And they would have 9 children, 5 of whom would survive.
Wow.
Oh, that's good. That's majority.
Yeah. And it's not too many, so they can't fight over all of the finances,
Can't
fight over all the damn bones.
He probably the child of his of most note is Francis Buckland, Frank. And then also Elizabeth. Elizabeth would write a biography of their father.
Buck.
But Frank, I'll get to Frank later because he would follow in his father's footsteps. So anyways,
not his father's bull skid mark.
Billy Buckland, he goes into a cave in South Wales where he discovers a skeleton, and he called it the Red Lady of Paviland because it was in Paviland Cave.
Oh, okay. Pretty good name.
And at first he thought it'd be the remains of a local prostitute.
Well, that was the
In a
style at the
cave?
time, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Because people, you probably bang
People
a
are
hooker.
like hyenas. They bring things back to where they live.
Yeah.
They love to laugh.
Is this cave by the hour or?
It's a no-tell mo cave. And then he found the skeleton in the same layer of the geological record as extinct mammals like the mammoth. And he said this must be some other weird shit.
The mammoths did this.
And he said this can't be a prostitute. This is too old. And later, carbon dating would show that it was a male from 33,000 years ago, and it is still the oldest anatomically modern human found in the UK.
Wow.
It wasn't even the red lady, man. It was a dude.
But it prostitutes still. Yeah.
Yeah, back then,
Yeah.
oldest profession, pal.
I just took a mammoth dick on my ass, dude.
It's not a euphemism.
He
That guy was crazy.
He was very lively.
They call me Mr. Tusks.
So he was very compared to his contemporaries, he spoke much more familiarly, what would you say, colloquial. His lectures were entertaining.
Right.
He'd
Very
fucking animate. He'd
contemporary,
take the skulls and move them around like puppets and shit.
Yeah.
He'd pretend to be a dinosaur in the class.
Wow.
He was a
Real Patch Adams.
Yeah. Real fucking Sesame Street shit.
Yeah. I only eat leaves.
Well,
I'm a stupid loser, dinosaur.
I'm a 3-story cow.
yeah, he had a whole table that was just fossilized dinosaur poop. Now, John, you said
Look at all my shit.
Cool.
Now you said that he only eats leaves. You were talking about some sort of herbivore.
Yes.
Well, this guy, William Buckland, he would be maybe the world's most famous, what you would call somebody in a zoophagy. This guy wanted to eat every conceivable animal.
Yeah. That was a big thing about killing the weird animals.
You want to know what was the best thing to eat? What was the worst thing to eat? He would eat panther, crocodile, mouse, hedgehog, crocodile, alligator. He said the gross ones were the mole and the blue bottle fly.
Yeah, you don't say.
One of his favorite
Fly, huh?
One of his favorite dish was grilled mouse on toast.
That's disgusting.
That was his favorite.
That's disgusting.
Favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, how many mice do you need to fill out the toast? Because you got this. They're all bones.
Well, we got to get a few mice.
Yeah.
Oh, that fox hunting too. Like, does anybody eat the fucking fox?
Oh, I'm sure this guy ate the fox, dude. He wanted to taste every animal on Earth. I mean, it's impossible.
I think that was a big thing for Darwin too. Where like he ate a lot of the animals.
Yeah. Darwin did not like this guy. They had worked together a few times or corresponded a few times, and I think Darwin actually commended some of his work before, but he's like, but this guy's. He's just a fucking jackass. Like
He's a wanker.
Yeah, he's just a wanker. All show, too showy for Darwin. He went to an Italian cathedral one time to disprove a local legend that a saint's blood was dripping from like on one of the walls. I think there was like a relief on one of the walls, and the legend was that it was blood. And he said, I'm gonna fucking taste this shit.
I'm gonna ruin this town's history.
And he's licking the limestone. He's looking at it. He's like, nah, man, it's bat urine.
What?
Yeah, it was bat urine.
Which is what? Blood red?
Well, it dries up. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
But it's bat piss.
Cool.
He knew it like that. Oh, I know this.
Yeah,
This is not human blood. This is bat piss.
I have a vial of it with me.
So
damn. Well, and that's the thing too. It would be up in a church.
There's bats in the belfry, man.
There you go.
And so his son followed right in his footsteps. Frank had the most, very literal interpretation of Genesis, book 9, chapter 3. Quote: "Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you." End quote. And
what a cocky book.
Terrible quote.
Yeah.
They
imagine putting that in the back of your car.
That means like your wife too.
Yeah, I bet you he did.
Eat it up.
he would eat all sorts of weird shit. He also talked about how weird his dad was. He said that when he was 7,
That's so weird.
All of our dads are.
when he was 7,
And gay.
a live turtle was sent down from London. My father tied a long rope around the turtle's fin and let him have a swim in mercury.
What the fuck?
Which was I think that was actually just the name of like an ornamental pond at near their church.
Who knows with these guys?
But he let him swim around in there while I held the string, and then my father made me stand on the back of the turtle, and I had to ride for a few yards as it swam round and around the pond. And then I was allowed to assist the cook to cut off the turtle's head in the kitchen.
Jeez.
The head, after it was separated, bit the finger of one of the kitchen boys who was opening the thing's mouth.
That's awesome.
The same head is now in my museum.
Oh my God, dude.
And the finger too. He probably cut the finger off, and he said
that
that's not
turtle
food."
must have been like 200 years old.
Dude.
Minimum.
It was Teenage Mutant.
minimum.
Minimum. Just to have a guy stand on its back and still swim around,
Dude, that's
and
the
then for
ooze.
its head to continue to fucking, come on.
I don't think that's how. I don't think it
Probably a reflex.
works because
reflex.
of age.
I don't know. It's
Oh, you're saying
it's what you learn living 200 years on this planet. You go like, fuck everybody. My revenge is eternal. Cut off my head, I'll bite your fucking finger.
Yeah, okay,
And
all right.
then you can, and then also, it also made everybody suck its dick, which
Yeah.
was really weird because you had to crack open the shell to get to it.
Turtles have weird dicks.
yeah,
It's really
man.
funny.
Pretty cool.
Maybe Buckland's. So back to Billy Buckland.
Oh, Billy Buckland.
So he goes to this guy, Lord Harcourt, some lord.
Some
This
guy.
is 1848,
Jackass.
and the Harcourt family had in its possession a silver locket believed to contain the mummified heart of King Louis XIV of France.
Oh.
And this was part of a tradition dating back to the 13th century where when kings would die, they would piece out parts of the organs and they'd be like kept as keepsakes.
Right. Yeah. No. I have a glass case with King Louis's penis in it.
It's very, very
yeah.
small, isn't
Yeah.
it? And so, the king, they would say like, I want my heart, bury my heart at Wounded Knee.
Yeah.
Live.
And so,
Take it to the far reaches of the empire.
so,
Put my balls in Peru.
so Louis XIV's heart went next to his father's. But then there was a revolution, and so like when the revolution happened, they didn't fucking give a shit what happened to it. So it started like making his journey through hands of different like
Sure.
collectors and stuff like that.
No shit.
And so the Harcourts,
Makes sense.
the Harcourts got it, and this I have no idea. This part is weird. It says that a majority of the mummified heart was most likely ground into a very specific pigment for paint known as mummy brown.
Yum.
And apparently that's true.
Wow.
I don't get it.
I hope it was a good
Is
painting.
there another way to get, I don't know what painting it's in or whatever.
You can get brown through just mixing all of the colors together. That's
But
basically
so, anyways, after some of the heart got ground up, the rest of it made its way to the Harcourt family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they hosted a nice fancy dinner, and in walks in old Billy Buckland.
And he wants to chug heart.
Yeah.
And they
I heard you're eating weird shit.
and they pass the fucking thing around the table, and he goes, huh. And he just opens it up and fucking eats it.
In front of everybody?
Yes.
Oh,
And
they must have not liked
And he
that.
goes, I've eaten many strange things, but never have I eaten the heart of a king before.
And they go, well, this is the last time we hand things to you.
Yeah. Just don't come around here anymore.
No, you're not. We're gonna let you see our newborn baby, but
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
He ate the fucking heart.
You know that there's a guy sitting next to him goes like, I didn't even have a chance to look at it.
Yeah, dude.
Hasn't even gotten around the table yet.
I was going to do that.
Yeah. Go back to your big lizard buns, big funny.
A name for a ridge on the moon is named after him. Buckland Island is named after him.
Where's that?
I think Japan.
The moon.
Yeah.
There's a plaque dedicated to him, and he was also I think he was the dean of Westminster Abbey at some point. Buckland Peaks in New Zealand are named after him.
This bastard just claiming anything.
He got he had a disorder of the neck and brain.
Yeah, you don't say.
And died of it.
Damn.
The autopsy showed that a portion of the base of the skull upon which the brain rested, together with the 2 upper vertebrae of the neck, to be in an advanced state of caries or decay. The
bones were decaying?
Yeah, they said
damn
there might have
it.
been some kind of severe accident years earlier. Probably fucking tripped and fell on a fucking megalodon's
Probably
femur.
took a swim in mercury.
He's like,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
look, a whale heart, bunk.
He tried to stand on a turtle and he fell over.
And so, he died.
Yeah, I'm checking out.
And honestly, that's about it.
That's
Wow.
pretty good. That's
Wow.
pretty
He
good
ate
stuff.
every conceivable animal,
There you go.
hedgehogs, cheetahs,
Cheetahs.
yeah.
Mice on toast.
Mice on toast.
rhinos.
Mice on toast is so
Dude,
gross.
mice on toast was his
This is-
favorite.
That's so dumb.
Favorite.
Yeah, but you can't trust that man's.
I mean, he's eating hard.
his
I'll
opinion-
have a
his opinions.
simple mouse on toast.
King Louis, eat your heart.
yeah. How about beans? No. Mouse. Mouse.
Are
full
we
of
out of
shit.
mouse?
Can we take a quick break?
So all we have is rat.
Yes.
Is rat okay?
Even better.
It's fine. I don't like it.
Rat on croissant.
What is this?
All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Matt's lurid,
Lurid?
No.
some
Shit.
gangster shit that's gonna lead into mine apparently.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Be right back, folks. And we're back.
Oh wow, that's fun. That's nice.
Kinky.
Oh.
Kinky.
I like it. Little.
Now, Matt, I understand you have a rogue's tale.
I do, John. Because a few months ago, I suppose it was. I think it was August actually. You mentioned that you were going to do a shorty about some guy who didn't fit in, mobster type thing, and so I put together a bunch of this, and then as I was looking to fill it out today, I found more.
Update.
Yeah.
Profiles update.
And so initially, I was looking for like weird mobster types, and of course you get all those like the websites where it's like they're like the weirdest mobster nicknames,
You
and
gotta
every
click the
website
75.
is just the copy and paste of the other website.
Yeah. It's all clickbait bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
silly.
there's ads at the bottom for like sticking your dick in a cantaloupe or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, those I would have stuck on that page. I'll tell you that.
Wait. Whoa. Hold on. You tell me that God made cantaloupes
Yeah.
Oh,
for us
me?
to fuck to
If
microwave?
it's perfect.
checkmate, atheists.
And so they all have the same one. They all have Louis Atancio Jr. You know.
Louis Haha Atancio Jr.
Yeah. And I didn't really. I'll look them all up later. Maybe some other time. Doesn't matter. Anthony Gaspipe Casso. I believe he would carry around a pipe with that. Was like he killed someone with a pipe once. You know.
Yeah, gas pipe is I think mentioned frequently from Sonny the Bull.
Yeah.
And a leader of one of the families, I think.
Pretty high up, at least. Maybe some sort of underboss or something like that. Peter Horseface Licavoli. Probably a really ugly man. You imagine?
Mm-hmm.
They're not all ironic. They're mostly not ironic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Turns out.
They're Italian.
Yeah. Angelo Quack Ruggiero. I should have looked that one up. That was fun.
Quack quack.
Philip Chicken Man Testa. When Springsteen says they blew up the Chicken Man Philly last night, that's the man he's talking about.
The Chicken Man.
Yeah. Peter the Crumb Caprio.
The Crumb is an interesting one.
Yeah. He probably had crackers all over him.
He's a mess.
Might have been a little guy.
There's Anthony Big Tuna Accardo, also known as Joe Batters.
Big Tuna.
Yeah.
Hey, from The Office.
And you can guess where he got his nickname, I think. Joe Batters.
Baseball bat.
Yes.
I was gonna say.
He murdered 3 mobsters who betrayed his outfit. Al Capone allegedly said, "Boy, this kid's a real Joe Batters."
In that voice, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I imagine that's how he talked.
Yeah.
Big Tuna was given to him by the Chicago newspapers when he was photographed with a giant tuna he caught during a fishing expedition.
Dude, tunas are big.
My God.
Yeah, really original stuff back then.
Yeah.
Joseph Joey Brains Ambrosino. Probably a fucking dummy. Maybe not, based on everything else we've learned.
Yeah.
Joey Brains, though, doesn't sound like a great name. Luigi Baby Shacks Minaccio.
Baby Shacks?
Yeah, Baby Shacks. Probably, maybe he had a song like Baby Shacks.
Yeah.
There's also Vincent.
Got a lot of incubators. I run an incubated house.
Yeah.
There's Vincent Jimmy the Bear Flemmy.
Vincent Jimmy the Bear.
Yeah.
Flemmy.
Boston mobster, criminal murderer, member of the Winter Hill Gang. Big guy.
Oh, Winter Hill Gang.
Yeah.
Hey.
Which is?
The guy from the Johnny Depp motion picture. The Winter Hill Gang.
Yes.
Whitey Bulger.
Whitey Bulger, yeah.
Yeah. And by brief time in Dublin, I befriended one of the locals there. He told me that the Irish are big fans of Whitey Bulger.
No shit.
And well, the Winter Hill Gang sent a bunch of weapons to the IRA.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Sugar Hill Gang type of guy.
I don't know if like big fan is, but like very, very fascinated with.
Yeah, all these things take on folklorish things.
Sure,
and people can be like,
it wasn't an iron bowl, it was a pile of shit.
Yeah. When they found out he was snitching for fucking his whole fucking career, were they big fans? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
I think Bulger got on the government fucking dick in like the 60s.
Yeah, so Vincent Flemmy's brother, Stephen, who was known as the Rifleman, who he got his nickname because he was trained by the army in shooting rifles. He actually became a snitch to the FBI before Bulger. They were both members of the Winter Hill Gang, and Bulger reportedly told him, "Your secret's safe with me," because shortly after Stephen had started snitching, Bulger had started snitching. And so they both knew, or at least Bulger knew that Flemmy was snitching.
Yes.
But I want to talk about a guy who shows up on these lists, Joe the Animal Barboza.
Hey.
And so we're going to be talking about, John, you're talking about the Irish earlier. Aaron, you're talking about the English.
There's animals.
Yeah, and there's a city in England called Boston. Isn't that crazy?
That's so funny.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah.
It's on the south of England, John, which you're familiar with.
Ugh.
It's at the bottom.
Am I?
Yeah.
Why am I familiar with it?
Well, because you're familiar with the bottoms.
No, because remember we had that whole argument about where Liverpool was in England?
Oh, yeah, it wasn't an argument. It was just me being wrong.
Well, sometimes that's what an argument is.
You're a good man.
I was just saying I thought it was. Because I thought it was one of the cities that was closest to get to from Ireland.
Well, no, I mean...
But it's more northwest, right?
It's a 45-minute flight from Dublin straight across.
Yeah, you know, but I'm talking I'm talking about boat days.
Well, it still is. It's probably like it's like a 13-hour boat ride, but it is straight across from Dublin.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Left
right.
to right.
I guess that's why I didn't know. I always thought, England position higher or whatever. Doesn't matter.
Right, and then England, the northwest of England, Blackpool and those areas, they stretch up. And then
I guess
Scotland.
I didn't understand that it's more like this.
Yeah,
I thought it was more like
this. Now, listeners at home, he's kind of doing like a mime thing.
Yeah, he's stuck in a glass.
It looks like he's trying to get out of a glass box.
Yeah.
Not an edible.
So let's see. This is a story of Joe the Animal Barboza, and this is going to concern the 60s, a bunch of the 60s Irish, or the mob wars in Boston, between
Boston, England,
Massachusetts.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
oh.
Between the Italian mob and the Irish mobs, and so many Irish people, and the Irish even had their own own battle within mobs.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say.
To the point where so many Irish people died that the Boston Herald's obituary was nicknamed the Irish Sports Pages.
Jesus Christ.
No, I mean it's part and parcel for any of it is like there would be a thing where even like the Westies stay around in New York as an Irish gang, but it would be through having to make some deal with one of the New York Italian families.
Right.
But it was still a thing where they were like, let's make a truce here, just because like they are all over there, and like we don't really know them, so it'd be easier to just make some kind of a deal with them. But, like, guys that we do know, they're easy to kill. We know them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was, like, kind of a thing where, like the internecine warfare is always easier than, civil war is easier in gangs than war with the opposing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a bunch of this, a lot of the good details here comes from Tom Jones at Gangster Inc. And also Mark Sangini, who wrote a book about the Boston mob, and he also wrote that book about the New England Scoundrels for the Hetty Green episode that I used.
Scoundrel.
The animal, Joe Barboza. He was born in 1932, New Bedford, a family of second-generation Portuguese. So the Portuguese guy, no matter, he could never be a made man, and no matter in either mob, Irish or English or Italian mob, right? His father was a prize fighter, never amounted to a pro. His mother, I think she was a seamstress. I can't remember. Barboza would grow up and he would get into prize fighting too. He won 8 bouts out of 11, but he seemed to enjoy crime the most.
Crime is good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many Portuguese there were in Boston. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, pretty good number, I imagine. Especially it being because they were so good with sailing.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, like big city like that. I mean,
Well, and New Bedford is
It's my understanding there are a lot of Portuguese in New England. There's a lot of Portuguese.
It's not near Boston. I assume it's New Bedford, Connecticut.
Did your grandma, for instance, did she know a lot of other Spanish people in LA?
Oh, I'm sorry, Massachusetts.
No.
I said Connecticut. Where is it?
It's a fucking hike, right?
Almost none.
But kinda, I would imagine.
Yeah, but LA is a lot farther.
It's a lot farther.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Irish people end up everywhere because we have to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even still, I would say, yeah, few and far between, I would imagine.
Yeah. But in New England, it's my understanding there's a lot of Portuguese.
Yeah. I mean, in New World shit, So New Bedford is it's actually closer to Providence than Boston, but it's south. It's as the Cape turns out, begins.
As the Cape turns,
it's right on the south edge of Massachusetts. There.
Okay.
So he worked as a longshoreman, as you assume, as a Portuguese man, and working on the coast. He was a great cook, apparently, and he spoke 3 languages. During his lifetime, he would be arrested or indicted 28 times, convicted 7 times, imprisoned 4 times, and overall served 11 years in prison. 1950, by age 18, he was sent to Massachusetts Correctional Facility in Concord for 5 years for just piles of burglaries he committed. 3 years in, he had a bunch of whiskey and amphetamine smuggled in, and then he and 6 other inmates took them, beat up a guard. I think one of the sources said that they killed a guard, and they all escaped. And then they over the next 24 hours, they just went out and just kind of partied and just beat up random people.
Oh my God!
And then they were all arrested again.
Meth.
Nazi dust.
Yeah. But their sentences for some reason were not extended, and in 58 he was paroled, and he returned to crime. He became a loan shark and a burglar, and he there's an interview he did in I think in the 70s on tape, on film, where he talks about how he's like, after 14 weeks, a lot of guys, you hit him with a pipe, you hit him in the stomach, hit him in the head, you hit him in the arms.
Wait, after 14 weeks, what?
Because with the loan payments, he would say, after 7 weeks, if they haven't paid you, they would start hiding.
Yeah.
And after 14 weeks, that's when you started beating him.
Yeah.
And he also said, he's like the people who died from shylocking, that's what he called, were the people who owed like $90, not the people who owed you $5,000.
Right.
Because you weren't getting that money back if you killed the guy who owes you $5,000.
That's right.
Damn.
And so
you're meant to warn those guys, the $90 guy. You're meant to warn the guy that owes the.
Yeah. Yeah, and he talks about, he said, I stab people everywhere. I stab them in the arm, I stab them in the stomach, I stab them in the neck.
Try it out.
Yeah.
What's this do?
Which one's your money making hand?
Oh,
fuck. Stab the other one.
Oh, fuck. There's an artery in here.
Oh, fuck.
And so his nickname, he didn't have a nickname, even at that point, but he eventually got this nickname, apparently, an incident in 1958. So actually not that long after he got out. He's at a bar called the Ebb Tide, which would later be called the Beach Ball. A spate of mob murders were committed there.
Was it the Ebb Tide?
Ebb Tide.
Ebb Tide. Good name.
Yeah, it is. Better than the Beach Ball, but if a bunch of people are murdered at your place, sometimes you got to change the name.
Yeah, rebranding.
Yeah. And he's at this bar.
The gay bar.
Hey, Dad, that's for you.
He's out there getting beach balled.
So Joe Barboza, he's drinking at this bar, and this old Italian man is giving him shit because this Barboza, according to another mobster, he looked like a silverback gorilla. Giant big frame. He was like 5'10", 5'11", big top heavy frame, little legs.
Huh, how much you bench?
Yeah. Do you have a bowl?
Yeah, they didn't realize not a lot of them. Or I guess
They all skip leg day.
like even the boxers, like not a lot of squats.
Well, not back in those.
They did the running. They thought that was enough. So he's drinking at this bar, and this he's being obnoxious, and this old Italian man tells him to knock it off. So Barboza hits him, and at the bar is Henry Tamolino, who is one of the founding members of the Patriarcha crime family. One of the and attached to the Cosa Nostra from a few years before, and
Big Boston crime family.
yes, what the Italian Boston crime family.
Yeah.
And Tamolino tells him, probably knows his nickname is the referee, so I don't know if he was a boxing ref or what, but he tells him, he said, don't ever hit anybody with those hands. He said, I don't want to see you touch anybody with those hands again. So Barboza's at the bar with this Italian man who was harassing him, and so instead he just reaches over and bites a chunk of the man's ear off, and he goes, "I didn't hit it. I didn't touch it with my hands."
Good God.
The referee was Mills Lane.
I know. Right?
Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
He was a bald man, so yeah. So reportedly Tamolino gave him the nickname the Animal.
You're an animal, pal. You listen to me, though. I
You
like that.
are an
I
animal.
said, don't use those hands,
He didn't.
you motherfucker. You got around it. I like your style, kid.
There's also, and you don't know how many of these stories are real, but
No.
one time in a fight, he reportedly, supposedly he chewed a man's cheek off, and one time after he killed a guy, a piece of the guy's skull blew off, and he gnawed on it in front of the people he was working with.
And the ironic
People he
thing.
was working with?
Well, the people he was murdering people with.
You see what I did?
I'm a maniac. Hey, all right, let's
I'm
go
an
get,
animal.
Let's go get some drinks. All right.
Gorillas are vegetarians.
Well, he looked like one. He didn't act like
It was probably just some kind of prehistoric fossil he found or something.
Here's a nice piece of shit.
yeah. But so for all his loan sharking, he would later claim in this interview that he did that he was making about $5,500 a week on the interest of these loans.
And this is in the 60s?
Yeah, so it's about $53,000 a week today that he's making. This is just on the interest.
The juice.
Yeah, and it's a very there weren't credit cards back then.
No.
If you needed money, the mob was basically your only shot.
Yeah,
You gotta
use
get
your
it.
Shylock Express card.
Yeah, and the interest rates.
Don't leave the beach ball without it.
The interest rates weren't good. They might have been better than
Probably better than
the
actual
payday
credit
loans.
card. Yeah, they're better than credit card rates.
I mean,
29.99%. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'll go with the Shylock.
So he's still working on his own now. He's become friendly with some of the Winter Hill gangs, especially the Bear. So he does work for them sometimes, but he's still kind of doing his own thing. And he has a group of guys that he uses to burglarize and steal and do these loans. And he has a spot at a bar in East Boston that'd be called Barboza's Corner. Where he would just hang out and he's working he's doing his thing. But he gets noticed by the Patriarcha crime family, and so they recruit him and they bring him in. In '64, he changed his last name to Barron, Joe Barron.
Okay.
Because trying to remove the Portuguese, so because
I would have thought Barboza was Italian. I don't know if
right, yeah, I don't know. So maybe I could be wrong about that, but
No, Barbosa's Portuguese.
yeah, you're a Spanish man.
Oh, you knew it the whole time?
He's a Spanish
Big
man.
surprise.
If it was Italian, it'd be like Barbarossa.
yeah, Barboza.
What?
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
You
Let
guys
it
are
go. Let it
both
go.
bigoted.
Let it go. So one of the things is that same guy who gave him the nickname the Animal, Henry Tamolino, which is also not his full name. I forget to write down what his real name is. But he hired Joe and Joe's crew on a monthly retainer to do protection rackets on clubs and bars. And so basically they would just go into a bar, cause a scene, and go, "You don't want this to happen, do you?
Isn't this fucked up?
Yeah. This is a mess. What do you... You need us to make sure this doesn't happen.
It's a nice bar you had.
You need us, the guys who did this.
Fucking catastrophe,
to make
to
sure.
be honest.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, pay us so we don't do... he's part... So, you know, in the 60s is when the big Boston mob war is going on. And he would claim that he killed at least 26 guys.
Jesus Christ.
By the end, you know, the final count in his life would maybe be closer to 40 or 50. 50 people died in total in the Boston mob wars in 3 years.
What time was that?
So it'd be like mid 60s to late 60s.
And he's claiming all of them.
Yeah, almost.
Doing an Iceman?
Yeah. I did that one too.
I did that one too. They were crybabies. I remember.
Mm-hmm. The face tasted like shit.
But also like not everybody he killed was part of the war. Like so one of the things this
They are now.
I don't know if it's ironic, but like so he always wanted to be a made man, but you know he couldn't be. He wanted to be the first non-Italian Sicilian guy to be made, and they would never do it. In fact, because he had slightly dark skin, they called him the N-word behind his back. But meanwhile, he was a total racist too, and reportedly killed 2 black guys just randomly because they were...
Jesus Christ.
What was he, Liam Neeson? Remember that?
Yeah, no. Great misdirect.
We solved that one. So, but he was climbing the ranks of the family, but he was also like, he was
Not behind his back.
He was also he's climbing the ranks, but he can't be a made man, and he's also he's an animal. So there's one story of him where I think it was a reporter tells this story of seeing him and this guy driving down the street, and he gets cut off by this guy who's driving his family around, and so Barboza pulls in front of the guy, stops his car, and starts pounding on the windows, and then jumps on the hood and starts smashing in the windshield. Meanwhile, this guy and his family are just like crying.
Oh my
and the cop is seeing this whole thing, recognizes it's Barboza, and just walks the other way.
No.
There's another story of him. He was going in to shake down a club, and as he's doing it, he kills one of the guys in there. And there's just a guy going in there. It's like right around Christmas, and there's a guy going in there just to pick up some money. He's buying cigarettes, and just a random stranger going into the club to buy some cigarettes. Barboza sees him. He's like, "That's a witness." Kills that guy too.
Damn.
And so, even though the cops are scared of him, reporters there's stories, pictures of him published in the newspaper would say no credits because the photographers didn't want their names associated.
Yeah.
So, but all of this is just bringing heat.
Yes.
It's not like you can't if you kill mobsters as a mob guy, that might help the mob. Mm-hmm. But if you kill randos, that's not helpful.
The guy that I will talk about after this, he had a quote where he goes, "Criminals kill criminals, gangsters kill gangsters, idiots kill civilians."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so in 1965, he and 3 other guys, one of them the bear, they kill this guy Teddy Deegan, who's he's a Bonanno crime family member. Bonanno is the other big family in Boston, and this guy's just like he's just a hoodlum. He's just like a just burglar, small time guy. But he burgled a lot of patriarchal offices, and this murder, the day after this murder, Flemmy, who is an FBI informant himself, tells the FBI he did it. Hours after this murder, J. Edgar Hoover has a memo on his desk from the Boston field office with the listing of the 4 guys who were involved, and this will become important in a little bit. And then, Barboza drove this, like, what was it, James Bond car, they called it? The cops called it? It was a 1965...
was it Aston Martin?
No, what was it? I forgot to write it down. But in the Oldsmobile or something, like a new nice car, and in the back he had a fog machine type thing. So he would hit a button and a bunch of fog would spray out the back.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
But it also didn't seem to help him because
just follow the fog.
You also know that car.
Yeah.
And so it's like if you see it anywhere, you're like, oh, that's that guy's car.
Yeah, for sure.
And the streets of Boston suck to drive around.
Yeah.
Because they're made for carriages. So
he put that whistle on the exhaust pipe. That woo 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 woo.
So apparently he according to the he also started shaking down clubs that were also patriarchal clubs, and even though he was kind of working for them, he would start shake down the wrong clubs, and he says that the office, as he called them, they're the reason that in '66, as he was driving around in his car with a bunch of guns, cops pulled him over because there was a robbery a few days earlier, and they arrested him with all these guns and a suspicion of maybe that robbery. And two of his friends, his bail was set at $100,000. Two of his friends raised $59,000 for his bail. The patriarchs had those two guys killed and then stole all of the money.
Jeez. Oh my God.
And so in '67, he's found guilty on illegal weapons charges. He's sentenced to 4 or 5 years in Walpole State Prison. And it's around this time in 1967 that he starts working for the FBI. And he testifies in 3 cases. And in one of the cases...
This is the animal.
This is the animal.
Okay.
He testifies in 3 cases. In one of the cases... And the jurors would later say, we did not find him believable at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a fog machine and his cutlass. Okay.
So the FBI has him on weapons charges. They also go like, hey, we're pretty sure you're involved in other stuff. And they also know he's involved in the Deegan murder.
Yeah.
With Fleming. But in '67, after he starts working with the FBI convicts 6 men for the murder of Teddy Deegan. Barboza's not one of them, and Fleming's not one of them. 4 of them are guys who are attached to the patriarchal crime family. One of them, the guy who gave him the nickname, Henry Temelio.
Oh.
And 4 of the 6 guys that they convict had nothing to do with the murder, and the FBI knew this.
Yes.
And Barboza created a fake story.
Yeah.
And FBI had I think it was Fleming and another guy say, "You corroborate that on stand. We'll lessen your sentences for the other crimes."
Oh,
yeah, we just want to get these other guys up.
Yeah,
the street.
absolute scoundrels.
Yeah, they didn't have a reason. They didn't have a thing on these other guys. They knew they were mobsters. They wanted them off the street.
And this is also before that time where they knew how to work RICO and really get everybody off the street. So they were just
probably wasn't even a law by then.
I think it started. Yeah, I think it started somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah.
So
and then they were like, and then you tell us how to hook up that fog machine on the back of our cruisers. I'll knock off another 6 months.
Yeah, hell. So this was all revealed in a congressional report from 2003-2004, 108th Congress, and it's the report is titled "Everything Secret Degenerates: The FBI's Use of Murderers as Informants."
Yeah.
And so they write 4 of the men he named: Luis Greco, Peter Limon, Henry Temelio, Joseph Salvati had nothing to do with the crime. And one, he did not name Jimmy the Bear Fleming, who one actually the ringleaders and may have well been the trigger man. The day after the murder, Fleming admitted to the FBI informant that he was in on it. Fleming was also an FBI informant.
Yeah. I think there was this idea with the FBI where they're going like, people that know they're caught, but have not yet been convicted will not lie. And it's like, no, there's absolutely no truth to that logic whatsoever.
No, I mean,
use you right back.
Law enforcement loves to use faulty reasoning. And
just give us a reason.
Whatever works for them.
And also, like, convince us of the narrative we're already assured of.
Yeah.
We will ask you the questions. Yeah. It's like that thing of,
tell us what we want to hear.
The kids in Jordan, Minnesota, where it's going like, and this person touched you, right? And eventually the kids
made us
going,
eat poo-poo.
Yeah. And this guy that's like, okay, I got 3 bodies on me, and you're going like, did Jimmy Fatballs ask you to fucking kill his wife, and you go, like,
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy
That's the take.
Jimmy Fatballs.
Yeah, Jimmy Fatballs. Yeah, he
His
did.
big fat balls.
Now that I think about it,
Yeah, he did. Like
You're right.
He asked me to kill his knife. I mean, why?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, we've talked about it in previous episodes, but like the police don't do what is right or wrong. They do what is most convenient for them.
Yeah.
In most cases. And the FBI is especially, like, I mean, the FBI is not immune to that.
No, and the catching up, I think, is something they really feel like they can't do. Or like I think they like kind of know they're bad investigators. A lot of times they're like, we just need somebody to tell us what's going on.
Well, no,
and we will be like, listen, dude. Okay, you killed 5, 6, 7 people. Some of them women, some of them children. Fine, but just tell us what's going on because we don't know.
I don't think they would ever admit they're bad investigators. I think them.
No, they would never.
I think them getting 4 people, even if they had nothing to do with it, indicted. They go, hey, pretty good headlines, huh? Man, we're fucking good at
dude,
this.
20% of the people thought they were joining the female body investigators.
Especially especially when you know, like, there's no way I can connect this guy.
And also, I don't get in trouble for fucking this up.
In the pre-wiretape era, in the pre-RICO era,
and the pre-ubiquitous surveillance era. It's like, give us a believable story.
where you go like, all right, I know this guy just sits in a coffee shop and acts like a sweetheart all day, but he's actually directing most murder and all that. But also like, and like those neighborhoods and stuff like that. Like, once you let's say you take over a block, right? And you're going like, all right, well now our bars, let's say we're all bar owners, right?
All right, cool.
Hey, nice.
We're all bar owners, like in the Bronx or whatever. And we go like, all right, this fucking family is in charge. And we go like,
fucking family.
and we go like, all right, we give this
Banana.
fucking envelope once a week or whatever. But we also know like somebody fucking breaks up the bar. Like it's not like calling the cops where it's like, I don't know what happened, dude. Like,
kneecaps are getting smashed.
yeah. It's a thing where you go like, is there a part of that community that goes like,
they're doing a better job than the cops?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm sure at some point, especially because the cops are also
So if you go like
sometimes in on it.
if you go like it's just a different form of tax or whatever, like there's that aspect of it where it's like, there's
What's the whole reason the mafia in the States was created?
and also
Right,
it's specifically the thing why everybody in that documentary about Rickles takes 20 minutes to describe how the
Vegas was better when the mob ran it.
It's talking about like a woman could walk alone and it was like down the street and like with like no fear.
Yeah, nobody's handing out fucking porno pamphlets. There's no Blue Man Group around stuffing marshmallows in their face. It was better.
Well, I mean, the story of the whole like
No, but seriously, like,
Yes,
I
it
think
was-
about like zero crime rate, like
well, but also the inciting incident for the Boston mob wars was a member of one of the families made a pass at the girlfriend of a member of one of the other families at a party.
yeah.
And the response was to then beat the shit out of him and then throw his still living body
Oh yes.
in front of the hospital.
No.
And then one of the groups goes, hey, they meet with the other group and they go, hey, can you give him to us? And the one group says, no, we can't. And then they find out one of the leaders. He goes. He sees a bunch of guys around his car. He goes out. They run away. He finds 3 sticks of dynamite under the car.
Yeah.
And then they just start murdering each other.
Yeah.
You guys forgot
All because one of them made a pass at a
and that stuff happens in
So those women that walking down the street, they might not have been safe from mob guys.
no
might have been safe from the regulars.
They probably were but there is a thing there where you just go like it can seem like there's some more immediate response about like the thing of like hey, not only did I get your shit that was stolen back, it won't happen again.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing.
Sure,
Like,
Can't happen. Let's just say he's going to be going around town in an iron bowl for the rest of his life. Okay.
Yeah. Throw a pork chop in there every now and then. Okay.
Couple of potatoes. Got to be sitting in his own stew. I can't do the impression. Damn.
You're getting pretty good.
Okay,
So
babe.
in 1970, the American Witness Protection Program is started, and Barboza is the first guy to enter it.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a trivia fact for you. And so in 1970, Joseph Bentley and his family arrive in California.
Joey B.
Yeah, he really
Bentley.
big name change.
Nice.
Yeah, low profile.
Yeah.
Well,
It's my daughter Mercedes.
remember
and
low
my
profile.
son Jaguar.
Good.
Yeah. So the government, they paid for him to attend the Marine Cooks and Stewards training program.
Ooh.
He goes through this cooking school. He is sent as the cook on a USS vessel for a few months. But he eventually, when he gets back to, I think they're in around the Santa Rosa area, I think,
California?
near San Francisco.
California.
And or Santa Clara, maybe near San Francisco.
Okay.
And he has like a group of, he makes some friends, I guess. And someone commenting on this article at Gangster Inc. says, "Yeah, I remember him. I a couple times I invited him over for dinner with my
he
with my
made
parents."
some great
I'm like,
linguiça.
who the fuck knows if that's? But one of the guys
That he meets friends with.
that he makes friends with is a guy who is a burglar.
Oh.
And this guy one day he tells him about this house robbery he did where he stole over $250,000 worth of stuff. And this is 71.
Oh my God.
And
What kind of
not long after this, jewelry or whatever, but not long after this guy's found dead. He's not found dead. No, he disappears. And that'll become important. So in 1971, only a year into this witness protection, Joseph Bentley drives back to New England, reportedly to have a sit down with the mob. Who knows if this is true? To clear the air. On the way, he's in New Bedford, hometown, and he becomes he has some road rage incident with some guys, pulls out a gun, threatens them. They notify the police in Bristol. I said this might be Connecticut. I can't remember. And so the police, track him down, and they find that he has a loaded firearm, a bunch of marijuana. He's arrested. He's broken his parole, and he's incarcerated at Walpole State Prison. And while he's in Walpole State Prison, he tells his cellmate, who's a murderer, he tells him about killing this guy in California. And he gives him all of the details. He tells him where he buried him, that there's a big-ass stump on his grave. And he also tells this guy that he also murdered 6 other people during his time in California. He was only there for like a year. And his cellmate goes,
I don't like hippie shit.
his cellmate goes, well, that's a lot of interesting information. So he tells his lawyer, they contact the Walpole authorities. They don't do anything. So then his lawyer contacts the Santa Rosa, California department. And following the details of the cellmate's story, everything he heard, they find the stump,
The body.
and they find the body. And now Barboza is, he's taken to court. He's found guilty of this murder. But the Department of Justice attorney, Edward Harrington, tells the court, it is essential that the government should fulfill its commitment to Barboza and do all within its power to ensure that he suffers no harm as a result of his cooperation with the federal government.
Ooh.
He's one of us.
Damn.
F. Lee Bailey is Barboza's attorney.
Fuck.
And F. Lee Bailey says his response is, Barboza was sentenced to 5 years to life and was hustled off to Montana to some country club to serve his time.
Damn.
His own lawyer. So he's in prison now. It's 1972.
Playing
and
pickleball and shit.
yeah, that hasn't been invented yet. Has it? I don't know.
I don't know.
And in 1972, he appears as a witness at a government select committee investigating the fixing of horse races. And he shows up with this big, this weird, goatee.
Weird beard.
And a big pair of glasses.
Look at here, brother.
They're still doing witness protection for the guy who murdered a bunch of people after they witness protected him.
Oh, and they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he appears at this
Monday Night Raw.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you better. You better snap into some Portuguese sausage. Ooh. You better drive right. You better act right. You better
Say your
stand
prayers.
right.
Take your vitamins.
talk
Bury them
right.
with the fishes. I don't even know what voice that is.
Yeah, you're close enough.
I'm sorry.
And he is brought in as this expert on mob horse race fixing, like purely just because the government has him.
Yeah.
Let's try him out.
Equus, son of Fleckwis, son of Peckwis, who lived
begat
3 years.
So there's this guy.
I'm coming for you now.
There is now my mouth is sharp chain and it never comes out.
My chinkle jankle takes you down to the mat.
My chinkle jankle, it goes around here, goes sounds like this. It goes up.
I knew a guy named Chinkle Chankle.
So there's this
Chinese.
guy. Go ahead. This guy named Vincent Teresa, who was top captain for the patriarchal family, and his response to seeing this was, he said, "The committee didn't know what time of day it was. They had Barboza testifying about fixing races. He never fixed a race in his life. He was an enforcer, an assassin, not a money man." And the government is just using a guy. They keep using this guy,
Guys that tell lies.
Yeah.
to tell them whatever they want to hear.
Yeah.
And
You work for us now.
and
It is that, right?
and Barboza also talks about
He
how,
became a made man.
yeah, and another he became
It is kind of that.
That's the ultimate made man.
And so he goes back to jail for his 5-year sentence. While in jail, he publishes an autobiography called Barboza. And I think it's either here or in that Senate hearing, but I think it's here where in that book where he talks about how, according to him, Sinatra is involved with the mob.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's where the story started, but it is 75, so it seems, But the amazing thing about this autobiography, which he had, ghostwritten, but the amazing thing about this biography, the DOJ attorney who said that thing about we should fulfill our commitment to him, wrote the preface to his autobiography.
Yeah.
This guy would later become like the #1 judge in Massachusetts and would...
No shit.
Yeah, like... insane. Just the government completely failing to do any sort of... not caring about its citizens in such a way.
You're on our side or not. Like, that's it. Like,
Oh, he's been such a good guy to us. He murdered 6 people in California, but like...
I mean, he helped
could've
us
been
with so
anybody.
many
Yeah, but they were
lives.
like wacky ass hippies. and
Yeah,
shit.
there's some shit.
You saw that Manson family shit. It was him or them.
Yeah. Who
So-
you can trust?
So in 76, he gets out of jail and he starts hanging out with, just some new people in California. One of the guys, I don't know how, there's no talk of how this happened, but he notifies the Boston mob that Barboza is a regular friend who comes over to his apartment. Joseph Russo, 2 other guys show up one day. They gun down Barboza as he's leaving his friend's place. Apparently, his last words were something like, "You fucking assholes," or something.
You fucking cocksucking motherfuckers!
That's so legit.
Yeah.
That's so legit.
Doing to me what I do.
He's fucking clutching his just cream rising.
This murder of Barboza by Joseph Russo would lead Patriarcha Conciliare Ilya Zanino to say that Joseph Russo was, quote, "a genius with a fucking carbine."
Hey, nice.
Yeah, which would be
Damn.
kind of his like mob epitaph. Barboza's attorney F. Lee Bailey said about his death, "With all due respect to my former client, I don't think society has suffered a great loss."
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And F. Lee Bailey was, you may recognize the name because he was
Team OJ.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
OJ shit.
Yes,
Team
famous
OJ.
defense lawyer.
I believe, was he involved in the Manson trial?
I don't know. He might have. I mean, he might have.
He was, I believe, retained by Gotti. Before that all got upset by Sammy the Bull Grafano cooperating. But yeah, he was the name before Johnny Cochran, I guess.
Or
Like
Shapiro.
Yeah.
Shapiro, but yeah, the name of like buying your way out of trouble for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And so that's where Barboza's life ends, but the story doesn't end there. In July 2007, U.S. District Judge Nancy Gertner in Boston found the FBI, helped convict the 4 men, the U.S. government. 2 of them who died in jail. 2 of them were freed in the early 2000s after the FBI files became public. They sued the government, and the U.S. government was ordered to pay $100 million in damages to the 4 families.
No way.
Shit.
So thank you, FBI. You did great work in costing the American people $100 million.
Damn.
Like every time the LAPD attacks the wrong person, they don't pay the price for it.
Yeah, we
comes
pay
out-
for it.
We pay for it.
Yeah.
They should have to get
And yet they work
insurance.
for us.
They should have to get.
Turns out they don't.
No.
And that's the story of the animal.
That's very
One of
good.
Not-
silliest
not
mob
the Rob
nicknames.
Schneider motion picture.
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and I got a little shorty to wrap things up.
Wrap it up, B.
And we're back.
Hey.
That's nice.
Hi.
I'll tell you what's crazy.
Oh, what?
Matt scared me today when I was.
Matt scared you?
He scared me
No.
because he was like, "Oh, I got a weird gangster," and I was like, "Oh, I told you." I was like, "Where's your gangster from?" And he goes, "Boston." I was like,
Oh,
"Dude, are we doing the same fucking
Oh,
gangster?"
there's only like 4 or 5 guys out there.
yeah, 3, 4, 5 guys.
But so he was like, I was like, when? Like 60s or 70s, 80s, 90s? He goes, no, it's 60s. I was like, oh, cool. Never mind. I'm sorry. And then I left.
Yeah, if he just walked out of the whole
Yeah,
bar.
I fucking took a dump in his pants.
No, he took one here.
But in the Dorchester area of Boston,
Jesus.
where
No, I think it'd be more like like the it wouldn't be it'd be,
they pronounce the as there now.
no, it'd be or Chester.
Dorchester.
Yeah,
Dorchester.
Yeah, there you go.
So Dorchester area
Yeah.
of Boston.
There you go. I think.
This guy was born 71 and
What year?
Oh,
1971?
1971.
Oh,
yeah.
young guy.
yeah, he's the
Gen X.
The animal years are in the rearview mirror. And it's full of smoke.
He was I think he was left by his dad who was like an enforcer for the Irish mob
Mhm.
in Dorchester when he was 3 or 2. And so then he was raised by his mom. I think his mom got like diabetes. A bunch of the sisters in the family got like strung out on like heroin and stuff like that.
Not a great area, I suppose.
And I think he had like a relative that died that he was staying in the apartment in when he was 14
Fuck.
after his mother died
Jesus
due
Christ.
to like a blood clot when he was 14.
Jamaican.
So what?
Jamaican. She had blood clot?
Terrible joke.
I know. I'm sorry.
So he hung out with a bunch of street guys, right? And he was like, doing fucking roids and shit like that. You know all about that.
Oh, dude.
And,
Roids, crack, meth, gay sex.
Yeah.
and he was
Best.
Roids would be good for you.
big boy, big street hockey kid, shit
Okay.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, fucking, your fucking family's dead. Your sisters are on heroin and shit like that. Like, bro, like, and he just was still like, no handouts, bro. And like,
Didn't want help.
didn't want help. And then like, somebody was just like, okay, well, I can get you a job because like, look at you, you're a fucking big galoot.
Yeah.
His name is John Willis. And so, yeah, he grows up in this area. It was really rough and tumble thing.
He's juicing.
Yeah, and family's dead by the time he's 14, and like when his mom like had like diabetes and like lost her legs or whatever, like like
Roll around in a pole.
yeah, he would like he would be out working for the family because like there was no father,
Right.
and as a younger kid than 14,
Right.
and then he's just like, I had to quit those jobs to take care of my mom, and then she died with this blood clot thing, and then the neighborhood kids who were like tough kids from Dorchester, they were like, all right, dude, you're a fucking big galoot. Like, let's get you, lie about your age and get you gig bouncing at a bar.
Got it.
And so he takes that, right? And there's fucking, just one night at the bar where it's like, all right, this is definitely the Asian gang members come in.
Ooh.
And he's like, they got all the fucking slick suits and the spiked up hair and shit like that. And like,
Cool.
the owner of the bar tells me, like, dude, these guys are fucking legit fucked up gangsters. Like, do not fuck with them. Don't get involved with their shit.
Was it like the Yakuza on a world tour?
Huh?
No, I was just trying to think of Asian gangsters. It was like
Triads.
The Yakuza is just like let's see what's happening in Boston area.
Right? Yeah. No.
Yeah, dude, the accents must have been crazy.
The thing is that at the time,
A Japanese accent with a Boston accent. Holy shit!
I think ironically at the time, I haven't read about any Japanese. I read about Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean.
All in the native language too.
But
really
it seems like it was mostly Vietnamese, Chinese.
Oh, in the Boston area.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Fucking
Okay.
interesting.
And so there was a thing where there was something going on with some Korean guy and this Chinese gangster whose name was he was called Joe Vapeng and
Joe Vaping?
yeah.
Speaking of vaping, this is brought to you by.
I've also heard it called Joe Wei Ping, and in quotes John.
Great,
Like-
yeah.
it's like-
That was his
yeah,
mobster
It's
nickname.
like Joe is already
Yeah.
whatever.
We already got a bet. You're John.
So he was in like a really tight spot, and I don't know where John Willis comes out and just goes like, "Yo, don't fuck with this guy anymore." And he takes the guy. I think he got maced by this Korean gangster, and then he's taking him into the bathroom. He defends him, takes him to the bathroom to like wash out his eyes, and he turns around, and there's a bunch of Chinese guys, right?
Holy shit!
And they're like, "What are you doing with our guy?" Because it's like kind of the boss man.
Ooh.
And he's like, I don't, and they're like, should we fuck you up? And then Joe, is,
How polite.
yeah, Joe,
Excuse me, sir.
Joe Vaping is like, Joe Vaping is like, he goes, no, leave him alone, you fucking idiots. He just shouts it out in Chinese, and they all fucking like, and he goes, then he gives him a card, and he goes, listen, dude, he's like, if you ever fucking need help, he's like, hit me up.
This must be the guy you're talking about those months ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so,
Fantastic.
so then he's like down to like his last dollar, and he doesn't want to ask for help from the Dorchester boys,
Yeah, but he
And-
outsources it to fucking Chinese.
Yeah.
and he goes like, all right, well, but to him he's like, this is something I've earned, like
Right.
I got a favor, right?
Sure.
And so he calls the number, and then like 6 Chinese dudes get out of a car outside the payphone where he called. They're like,
It was a 2-door car.
and they're like, hey, you're fucking John? And he goes like, yeah, where's Joe? And they're like, don't worry, we're going to see him. And then they go back to this like some, building where it's just like, I mean, old ladies, children,
Generate.
and but it's also like the headquarters of Ping An, which is the Chinese gang that is like you fucking you spoke up for him, dude. Like now you're one of us, and
They're kind of a startup.
and he's 15, 16, no family, and
This is who Steven Seagal wishes he was.
Yeah.
yes, exactly, 100%.
But this is also like what? At least 2 gang movies from New York. Right?
Well, the thing is
Oh,
here.
yeah, there was that one with Jared Leto.
But the thing,
Oh,
the thing is here too that is really important is like this kid who really, really wanted and needed family finds it like overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's like,
as long as I remember, I always want to be a part of a family.
but like really think about it, like, dude, like he went to like his sisters for help, and like they were like getting high, and they just like slipped a note under the door, being like, "Yo, get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
Fucked up.
this is after like parents are dead. He lost his brother. He lost.
Yeah,
his,
yeah.
He lost
Yeah,
his,
no, I get.
And the
I
heroin
get-
probably came from fucking China. It's deep. It was a long game. Long con.
Probably came from Afghanistan. What the fuck are you talking
Dude,
about?
China White.
I think like most of the heroin in the world comes from Afghanistan. I think it's like,
Afghanistan.
I think-
Yeah, that's where I'm going, baby.
I think it's like
We're not pulling out from Afghanistan. Not in my house.
Jesus Christ.
I think it's like 80% or something.
Now, yeah. Remember the opium wars, etc.
Yeah.
But so, he's in this thing and like he's this street kid from Dorchester. And he's going like, now like I'm here and like he's like I'm welcomed in and all that, but he's also going like they're making fun of me for not knowing how to use chopsticks.
Yeah.
He's going like, but also like, you know, the older guys are like teaching me like, hey man, like, you know, you gotta learn patience. Like you can't be like with that quick Boston temper, you know?
Yeah.
And then they're also showing them like the respect for the elders, like how to pour the tea for them, with the spout away when you put it down, all that stuff.
Taking your shoes off inside.
And
Oh my God, you guys get it.
all this fucking shit about like, you know,
Decorum. Yeah.
not and also not reacting fast, like just
Right.
like not
Give it a second.
yeah, like just chill out and you know, there's, you know, it seems like in the history of the triad farm teams is what they basically thought of the Chinese gangs in the States.
It was the minor leagues.
It was the minor leagues, and so Ping An would have been one of them because that guy came from I think what do they call it, like Triad 14 or something. Which goes like I think dates back to like the 17th century or something like something insane like that. And it's this thing about being like, yeah, like, you know, but
Try it out.
So then they're going around and they're going to, you know, the main thing that gang controls is gambling dens and the massage parlors, right? So you're dealing with basically like, again, don't fuck with a civilian.
Yeah.
Fuck with people that are involved with crime.
Right.
If you're going to either one of these places, you know you're on the vice patch. Right. So it's like, you know, and he's also he's trusted more and more because he came in as a doe-eyed kid. Like he's not 28 coming
Brown
in.
eye.
He's they call him. They ended up calling him White Devil.
Nice.
That became his name in the group.
Pretty cool.
And
That's a good name.
great name.
You spend 10 minutes in China, you come up, white man. It's White Devil.
But he, you know, he would just do whatever he was told, and he proved himself like as an enforcer. Because they were also like, this guy's real big,
Yeah.
and that's
And
a,
we're not.
and we're not, and that's a real good look for us.
Yeah.
You know. And then it was a thing where like you know, they're going out and like, you know, they're in the place and like, and he was going like, this is the family that took me in. He's like, dude, he learned Chinese.
Yeah.
And he learned it from like the gangster movies.
Fuck.
He learned it.
Well,
from,
it's like
he learned it from like cards he kept, and then he learned Vietnamese,
Jesus.
and he just kept going, you know. And it was a thing where then, you know, he got into this thing where like the Chinese elders in the crime families are going like, that fucking big doofy white boy knows Chinese, like
this is my man.
he really showed up. And even in the FBI, they were like, we've never seen anything like this in Asian crime ever.
Huh.
There's never been
Yeah, they're very
a white boy,
homogenous.
an outsider that's been and like
So they had to stop him.
no, but to that point, there was a thing where it was like, even when the guy that started Ping An, when he was questioned, he got caught for some shit, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna give you total immunity, and he was like, he still didn't say shit. And then they were like, so they sent him to a bunch of years, and then he goes to China. And so he's the guy that launched this gang family. And eventually at some point he comes back, and John Willis had kind of proven himself in New York because he started in Boston and they sent him there. And at this point he had learned Chinese, and then Chinese girls would be impressed by that. Oh. They were like, he could even do like the accent like down, like he had fucking got it, you know?
Yeah.
But then since he now knows Chinese too, he's also like, as the bodyguard, you know, supposed stooge, he's
playing dumb, but he's listening to everything.
He's listening to everything.
Yeah. Right.
So there's
it's
a time.
A good move, man.
There's a time where, you know, they go through a bit of a war for control of Boston Chinatown with the Vietnamese. And there's a bit of a massacre where the Vietnamese like kill a bunch of people, and it just so happens at the time John Willis is right-hand man for a guy that was not that high in Ping An. But then after all the killing, like he rises to the top.
Default.
So now this guy is
like cream.
So now John, the White Devil, is basically the underboss of the Ping, and the guy that founded it, who I think they call like Sky Dragon or something like that.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. He goes, do you know who I am? And he bows and he goes, yes, I do know who you are. And he goes, well, I heard about you. And he goes, and I want to talk. And he goes, we don't talk about business at all. He's just like getting to know me. Like, who is this white dude that learned Chinese and was so
impressive?
It was so impressive. And, you know, some of the other guys in the gang were like, yo, there's some shit going on with drugs that makes some money. Because like I said, this is like 70s, 80s, 90s. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all right, I'll help you out with that. But the elders in the Asian gangs are like, too much heat.
Yeah.
Like, stick with gambling, stick with girls. Like, that's it, you know? But he goes out and he does it. But he still maintains those connections. But they're just kind of like, you know, dude, like, I don't know. There's not that same kind of suspicion that I think the Italian mafia would be like, oh, well, if you get pinched for this, then you'll rat on me.
Right.
Like, they still kind of trusted him.
Right.
Because I think in some way they knew, like, we're the only family you have. Like, this guy will never rat on us. Yeah. And especially we've taught him all this stuff about...
And the Chinese, they respect the rat. It's a good year. It's one of the good years in the Chinese...
But he'd proven himself.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I'll give it to you.
He had proven himself.
He had. And he also, at some point, he met this Vietnamese girl. And... And the thing is like, with this overlap in the gang culture too, when I say like the Vietnamese and the Chinese, like there's totally Vietnamese that are Vietnamese gang and there's Vietnamese that are Chinese gang.
Oh, okay.
Like there's overlap, of course.
So it's not a bad thing that he met a Chinese or Vietnamese woman.
No.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, two of the guys in one of the massacres had the same name, like Vat Fan. And they're two guys, like one Vat fan killed the other, and they go like they go no relation. Like, how funny is it to the guy? Like if I'm Aaron Pita,
it's a win-win situation.
And I've got a gun to your head, and I'm like, this is so fucked up. I'm killing Aaron Pita. Like, isn't this a metaphor? You know what I mean? Like,
we got to think about this.
It's a face-off.
But and she was just impressed with him as a guy that
was giant,
and also like learned the culture and was respectful.
That's nice.
Okay. Treated the elderly nice and stuff like that. But also like she got like she was just interested in him, not interested in his street rep.
What's that classic story where the mobster meets someone who's not associated, and they're like, no, he's really sweet.
And the writer of the book about him was just like, he's like, I would talk to him about like, did you kill anybody? And he goes, I've never been convicted of any murders. Yeah. Which, means, yes, I did.
Yes, I have.
But also he goes, so I thought he was completely without remorse or whatever. Like, but he goes, I realize he's just completely that way about his crimes within that family.
Oh, okay.
He goes, when it came to his daughter, which he adopted from, this woman he ended up dating.
Oh, wow.
And his wife, he goes, like, it was the first time he ever broke in front of me. And he goes, even when I would challenge him about, the morality of what he did, he goes, he wouldn't get upset. He had really learned all that discipline. And
which, it's discipline, but it's also being a psychopath, too.
I mean, who knows?
A little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, the only time I saw him, like, really emotionally break down is when it came to, his wife and child. And so anyway, he did 5 years for his initial bit, which was drug trafficking, and then he got out, and then he got really into oxy, and he went
Compton.
and he went back
not to college.
Yeah, he got accepted. Graduate, magna cum laude.
And because he knew he couldn't go to like Asian gangsters for dealing with this, he went back to the Dorchester guys.
And they fucking love oxy.
And he was going like we were supposed to have like a $10 million a year like oxy ring. He goes it was like 4 times that. He's like, Jesus. It was so much. And he goes,
there's a lot of colleges around there.
And he's like, and there was a lot of people in my family, like, distant family, like coming to me being like, dude, how much is enough? Just stop. And he's like, I'm just this.
That's just who I am.
I'm just this gangster animal now. Like, you.
He doesn't know anything.
No, you had animal.
Yeah. But he was very much of that opinion. Like,
this train's in motion.
Tiger can't change its stripes, that sort of thing.
It's another good year. You're the tiger.
But also, as I went this way too, like I was just going like, historically in organized Asian crime families, there's things where you just hear about the big dust up, and you get none of the story. Like,
okay.
Like it's just a thing where they're just like,
and then this happened. Period.
It's just like, people like go like everybody is like actual omerta. Like
Yeah,
everybody really, nobody's talking on the phone. Like there's no trying to impress. It's just like, no,
They're not doing podcasts?
they don't know.
Dude,
what,
plus writing all that shit down so hard in that language.
yeah, like Willis, I think was the first time they had like a little bit more of a window into it.
Yeah, because
White guy.
he's a white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stories like remember we had Yasuke, the African who became a fucking samurai.
Yeah.
Like, the people who have to try to work twice as hard to prove themselves, they're the exception that proves the rule, and they end up being the best.
But he never snitched on anybody. Like
Yeah.
John, to this day,
Right.
like he never snitched on anybody. So he did a 5-year bit, now he's doing a 20-year bit. And
Currently doing 20 years
currently doing
for
20
the Oxy stuff.
for the Oxy stuff. But like,
Purdue family out free.
Yeah, I know, right?
but exactly, yeah. But he never
All he
snitched.
did was give the people what they wanted of the completely legal drug that the company. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. Once there's a black market demand for a legal drug, you go like, ooh, shit, something's going on. There's something going on. But yeah, I thought his
The White Devil.
was very, very
Dude,
interesting.
I love a good white devil.
And yeah, like he definitely got this thing where he's like, okay, at first I'm the outsider, right? Don't know how to use chopsticks, don't know how to say anything. I'm a big idiot, but I did one favor one time, just a goodwill gesture, and it brought me into this world. And then they were like, oh no, fucking like this guy's all right. But I think, obviously they still learned the lesson too of like, he still comes from another world.
Yeah.
But they were.
But having that, coming from another world, there's a whole, it comes with experience, a new perspective. Like, he can get into places other people can't.
Right.
He knows things that
absolutely.
they otherwise maybe would not know.
Yes.
He can enter places without suspicion.
Yeah, the cops won't look at him twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, once he did get done for all the shit he did, which he was told not to do by them.
Right. He did
He still was just like, all right, well, I'm not going to give you a window into Ping On. Like, that's still my brothers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not snitching. Like,
Yeah.
and I'll break down and cry talking about my wife and child, which I could be with probably tomorrow if I did.
Right.
But I'm not gonna.
Shit.
It's but also like the guy denied family.
Yeah.
Finally getting one so hard and from the least expected place in the world.
Yeah.
And then he gets his own family
And he's still more loyal to the first one.
Yeah. Well.
That's how it should be.
I mean, even the second one, the witness protection program in the United States is not exactly.
No, we meant his second family, meaning his wife and
That's what I mean. But he would have to snitch on his first family in order to.
Right, and that's
out.
you don't do that.
No.
So.
I wouldn't.
Pretty good
Not
stuff.
on you boys.
Yeah.
Not snitching on you boys. I'm not even Chinese.
Yeah, we know.
That obvious, huh? Shit.
But yeah, it's like when you kind of like try to look at I realize like some of the because then I was just like, okay, well I don't even know anything about the history of Asian
crime on the East Coast?
No, me neither.
even San Francisco where like it was like,
Yeah, it was bigger in the 1800s, like in San Francisco, like, the 1800s.
but like the thing
The
is
Chinese
like
gangs
they
were
just
big.
they
Yeah.
really apparently kept their heads so down that like the only time you ever heard about it was when there was like a massacre.
Right.
Basically the kerfuffle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, but for the most part, it was just like, dude, shut the fuck.
Yeah. The best crime families are the ones you have no fucking clue exist.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to remember why you're doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
It's not for the newspaper.
No.
Yeah.
It's for the paper.
Very good.
I'm making a money sign. I'm doing the fingers.
Yeah.
You're making.
I'm doing the fingers and the mic. Pretty nice.
Pretty nice little potluck.
John Willis, huh?
Wow.
John Willis. Billy in the Bowl.
White Devil.
Guy that eats animals and hearts.
Mm-hmm.
The animal.
And an animal.
I mean, I feel like there's
Billy Buckland.
Hey,
Wow. Yeah,
Not a bad setup, fellas.
no.
not a bad one.
Pretty good time.
Let's say goodnight. I'm going to say goodnight. My name is John Fahey.
I'm Aaron Peter.
Matt Brousseau.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.
Starburns Audio.